Hello everybody and welcome along to the Halo World Championships live in Seattle. I was going to say sunny Seattle, but it's not quite that today. One thing we do know is the weather might be doomy and gloomy, but the attitudes for these players will be very much the opposite, with lots of these having ambitions of going on and making some of their best placements here and now. Joining me, as always, is the wonderful Dan Gaskin. Dan, it's an honor and a privilege to be here.
It's an honor and a privilege to be alongside you, Shurzy, as always. And yeah, an interesting matchup to start us off. Complexity versus Team Lethal Fox. If you cast your mind back to Salt Lake City, they did actually match up against one another in pool play, and it was a 3-0 comfortable sweep for Complexity. There were a couple of close games where Lethal Fox put some good numbers up. The Slayer in particular was a tight one. But I do think that Complexity come in this as clear favorites. But of course, when we go from one event to another, there is the chance to practice, get your head down, and get stuck in. And now that Lethal Fox are a team who have actually had time to put together stuff, maybe they've got a better shot here in this one. Yeah,
maybe a few more reps under their belt, and they can make a better task of it than previous. Of course, you remind everybody of the scoreline. 3-0 was the last time these two teams met up in Salt Lake City, and of course Complexity went on to top their pool, beating Optic Gaming also 3-0. So they finished top 6 last time around. TLF finishing top 16, going 0-3 in their pool. So a lot to work on for them, and for Complexity, their eyes will be firmly set on breaking into that top 4.
Well, off the rip, Complexity had a lead, but Lethal Fox were able to come back into this one. But we have seen that interference can be very back and forth, but as soon as one team does gain a little bit of control, they can really start to snowball out of said control and make it very difficult for the other team. With Overshield popping in 10, Complexity in the driving seat right now, and this is a really good chance to take a significant lead.
Team Lethal Fox did go down by 4, and they're starting to battle back. A and C in their control, so making sure this one doesn't get out of hand too quickly. Huss top tower, putting out some beautiful shots, winning that 1v1 with Common. Overshield has been scooped up as well and just whisked away towards Engine 2. Rammy's got that in his chest. A little bit left to play with, but not a lot. Looking to capture B, and TLF looking to lock in a trip cap of their own.
Yeah, just as I'm saying, the Overshield's popping, and maybe there was a chance for Complexity. It was great off-spawn work from Lethal Fox, and they're able to get control of B and C. A is now going to be where the fight's going to go down. You can already see Haines has been able to pick up 1. So this is a good chance for Lethal Fox now off the push to try and really kind of suffocate Complexity off spawn here.
Rammy rushed in to the bunker and made hard work of that kill, the player down to no shields, but did eventually get the job done before getting taken down himself. RyaNoob going to disappear towards Zigzag, stay alive, doing damage to Common all the meanwhile. C is in control of Complexity. Unfortunately for them, though, they find themselves 3 dead for a moment, so a lot of work for them to do. TLF not looking to roll over and make it easy for them.
TLF have yet to win Interference Strongholds throughout this entire season. Ever since it was added, they are 0-3. It's not much better on the side of Complexity. They've only won it once out of the 3 times they've played it as well. It's going to be one of the maps we have the least data on because it is one of the newest additions to the HCS. But certainly, Complexity should have the upper hand. But with how Lethal Fox have approached this, like, kind of last 2 minutes, they look like they're feeling themselves here in Seattle.
On board with Haines then. What can he do? RyaNoob down to no shields now and taking down to the respawn screen. Rayne and Breakingshot will answer back for the death of RyaNoob, so numbers advantage now favoring Complexity, and they're looking to capitalize on those numbers by capturing some more strongholds and lock in a triple cap now. This is what the response is going to be very important now for TLF. Can they break out of this setup? They've gotten a kill, but it's been traded out immediately. So Overshield about to pop up. Will they prioritize picking that up or try and prioritize stopping some of those points being scored?
Huss trying to lay down some suppressing fire to stop TLF from being able to push. And I think the Complexity, I mean, after a top 6 finish at Salt Lake City, they would have been relatively happy with that, especially if you look back at the history of the iterations of Complexity that we've seen, like sometimes falling as low as top 12, for example. But my real question is, can they go one step further? And if they are to do that here at the World Championship, they have to take down teams like Lethal Fox comfortably. Like, they shouldn't really be having close games. They shouldn't be dropping maps, especially here. But Lethal Fox are certainly making it tough for them in the opening stages.
And the question marks that were made and were had over this Complexity roster was Rayne. Was he going to get up to speed after taking that little bit of time off? Not making perhaps the team that he wanted to, so he waited in the wings as a free agent, eventually making his way back onto that roster with RyaNoob. Do you think he now has had the adequate reps to perform to the best that he can?
Yeah, I don't think there's any excuses there of being behind now. He's had the chance to catch up. He's played in the big matches. He's been on the main stage. And I think that Rayne is not only here in Seattle outside, but also in the venue. And he is going to show up. I'm excited to see what he can do throughout this tournament. But this game in particular, Lethal Fox, they have a real opportunity to upset Complexity here and maybe question themselves a little bit. I think if you can get under the skin of some of the Complexity members, that's going to put you in great kind of stance to maybe make an upset.
Winning game one certainly would be a statement of intent, and maybe just, like you mentioned, Dan, to wobble Complexity's confidence just a touch, because the expectation is that they're going to come into this series and win 3-0, 3-1. If you can take the objective and then maybe look towards the Slayer, before you know it, you're up by 2 and in with a real shot at taking this series. But of course, still a lot of work to be done on interference, because we know it can change and the script can flip on a dime.
Breakingshot had a incredible event. Last event as well was often the most talked about player on this team. However, in this particular game, struggling a little bit. Neg 5. Although Huss, on the other side, 0 assists. It's just not quite the teamwork that we saw from Complexity. But as I say that, Overshield will be popped, and it is a trip cap. And now maybe this will be where they can show us what they're made of.
RyaNoob identifying where the spawns were going to be. Rayne got the kill onto Rammy, and he's looking to stand still over towards where the Railgun once spawned, if you're a fan of the old Halo 5 rig. Coming down to no shields, clambering away to back pipes. He's going to make himself a really difficult kill. Yakzn over to where the barrels once spawned as well. I'm very reminiscent of the rig and how I miss it, so maybe I just miss Halo 5 as well in general. Big fan, always will be. RyaNoob though, in the basement looking to capture it and lock in again this triple cap, and TLF are in big trouble. RyaNoob did step out and Huss was able to get the reset, and that might just delay and maybe quell the damage that's being done to TLF right now.
I don't think anyone can begrudge you being a Halo 5 kid. I think that that's fine. I think it's one of those games, like, you know, there are a lot of games in the franchise that some people are not fans of. For example, I'm not a fan of Halo Reach.
Not a big fan of Halo Reach myself.
But there are some Halo Reach kids that will, you know, live and die on that sword.
Oh, they're losing their mind to the fact that we've said that.
And they are. But Halo 5, I feel like everyone was, you know, people will have their opinions, but I think ultimately everyone knows that Halo 5 was an incredible game. Whatever way you look at it. The maps, the weapons, the history we had, and certainly the championships that we saw as well, won by players that are competing here today for the Halo Infinite World Championship as well. But Complexity, as we've been waffling, have started to create a big gap here against Lethal Fox. It just seemed like as soon as we got to the halfway line, Complexity started knuckling down.
Yeah, real distance between the two now. What kind of response can TLF muster before this game becomes dead and buried? Common over towards B will capture it, so they are starting to score, but numbers starting to get cut away. Yakz's going to fall, Haines 2. Rammy could be about to join him as he desperately tries to get the overshield. It has been played off the map, but the damage already done. 3 dead for TLF. And now Complexity just 20 points away from a 1-0 lead.
So one last stab for TLF to try and get back into this game. C is going to be contested, will be taken, so this is most likely the last opportunity then for Lethal Fox to actually get back in and maybe turn this one around when Complexity is so close to the finish line here. Maybe a big kill could do it, and Yak with the reversal. I mean, that's one that Huss is going to remember.
Yakety Yak, don't talk back. Flips that one on its head. 3 dead for Complexity. Gotta giggle out of you, that's my job done for the day. And a lifeline then for TLF. Not quite out of it just yet, and that's what I love about this map mode combination. You never truly know if somebody's out of it. You okay, Dan?
Yeah, I'm good. Do you remember when we were calling him Yakzn?
Yakzn!
Well, this actually is quite worrying for Complexity. They were very close to securing this game, but that turnaround from Yak maybe just gave them enough, but no, okay, now Complexity start to actually charge across 2 huge kills, which should secure them B.
There'll be moments then for TLF. Just looked like they had carved themselves an opening into this game again. But Complexity step on that gas, Breakingshot over towards basement. Rammy's gonna fall. Yakzn trying to desperately put it in reverse to stay alive, to keep himself on the map. But unfortunately for him, they're losing so many points here. They've captured one stronghold, but it's not going to be enough as Common tries to get to B. Cut down, cut short. Complexity 1-0 to the good.
Yeah, it didn't look comfortable, I'd say, for Complexity, but also the fact they did get the job done and got over the finish line was important, and now they should be able to use this momentum in the rest of the series. And I predicted a 3-0 before we started. I was a little bit worried at the start of the game, but I think that we're starting to head that way. We can go for a quick break, but when we come back, we'll of course have map number 2.
Back, game number 2 underway. Aquarius Slayer, Pool D, of course, is where our attention is turned to at the moment. Complexity and TLF sharing the same group as FaZe Clan and the Latam team at Can Esports. So, a lot of work to be done for TLF as they find themselves down, but the underdog always has a dog in the fight, particularly when it comes to the Slayer, Dan, and they'll be hoping to bounce back here in game number 2.
Famous man once said, hey, you all love it, the underdog's on top, but certainly in this series, the underdog is not on top right now. But it is Aquarius Slayer, and it is one of the maps and modes they've played against each other in Salt Lake City. It finished 50-47 in favor of Complexity, so it was what I was alluding to previously. It was one of the closer maps and modes, so maybe this is the chance, if any, for Lethal Fox to get a game on the board.
Slight lead after the early innings. 4 kills the advantage at the moment. RyaNoob and Rayne in the respawn screen. Breakingshot and Huss to hold the line, hold the fort, waiting for their teammates to spawn back up again. Fridge spawn. It seemed to be as Huss was locked in there, and RyaNoob did spawn over towards S1 because of where Huss was positioned, and nades came a-flowing, nades came a-throwing, and took him completely out of that fridge. So, RyaNoob has died over towards P1 as well. This is good from TLF. Still have that 5-kill advantage. So Complexity trying to fight back and not really putting any distance between the two teams. So, damage being done. RyaNoob in the base again, so it's Complexity really playing off the back foot. Great aggression shown by TLF here. Settling for a trade, but it's actually 3 dead for a moment with TLF, so not what they would have liked. Still holding that 4 kills.
I think Aquarius Slayer is kind of the perfect map and mode for Lethal Fox to try and get back into this series, not only because of previous results, but I think it's just one of those maps that you can be a little bit sporadic with your movements. You can catch your opponent off guard, especially when the game's in this kind of state where it's a little bit all over the place. There's no real structure. Complexity haven't been able to comfortably lock down a position yet, and Lethal Fox are taking advantage of that by playing at a pace which Complexity is struggling to keep up with. However, if Complexity are to regain control, slow this game down, that's when you start to worry for Lethal Fox.
It is always a recipe for success for some of these teams that are not seeded as high as maybe the likes of Complexity, is trying to keep things frantic and not allow Complexity to get into a groove and settle into some sort of rhythm. TLF have been doing that so successfully. Going to trade out 3 for 3 there, and with a 3-kill advantage still in their favor. Overshield's going to be massive here. TLF did secure the last one, but going to have to keep doing that, keep putting distance between them and ensuring that Complexity don't gain control of any win advantages.
As it's the World Championship, I feel like we've been through another year, you and I just want to say how proud I am that you say 3 instead of tree.
I try so hard.
Does
you have no idea.
When you see the number 3, does your brain say tree?
I say tree, and then I have to translate it to 3
into English.
Yeah,
from Irish,
from
Gaelic,
from gibberish. And sometimes what happens is, as you well know now, is I'll put H's within T's that don't even belong. They don't even belong there. It's a whole problem. I'm struggling through it, so I hope, as you see, I said through it instead of through it. See, it's a whole thing. It's a process.
If anyone's watching this, you may not be. I don't know at this point. I just want you to know Richie's done that for you.
Are we alone?
All right?
Are we alone here?
I hope. Let me know. Tweet us. Because
let us know that you are here with us and you are struggling along with me as I try to pronounce words in English.
Boy, do we need you on this Friday morning.
We do.
But this game is still in the advantage of TLF. Complexity did well to ensure that TLF don't run away with it, but what we were talking about, I think you're right. I mean, it is a little bit frantic. When you think about the Bandit, you think about this game in Halo Infinite's state at the moment, everyone is good at shooting, right? Every single member on this map can hit their shot. So if you are aggressive enough, you can almost take the tactics out of Complexity and just say, look, we will take you in a raw gunfight, and if we have the upper hand, if we've got the momentum on our side, if we can catch you on spawn, then actually maybe we can find a win here. And right now, that's been working for them.
And almost the flip side of things for teams like Complexity, you want to ensure that it stays as structured as it possibly can be for the most part, because you want to ensure that it's your teamwork that gets you into positions where you can win games. And of course, Slayers are always difficult to do that, because if you have a tougher start, if the opposing team gets an overshield and maybe you go fresh 4 dead, it can be very difficult to get yourself back into a motion and with some momentum. So TLF doing a fantastic job here, really putting Complexity on the back foot, and have kept them there all game long.
It is worth noting that this is arguably Complexity's worst Slayer across the board, so I don't think they would be too disheartened if they were to lose, and maybe they come into it expecting a difficult game here, especially after the 50-47 in Salt Lake. But that 50-47, if they want to replicate that, they need to come back into it soon, and it's not going to happen with doubles like that from Common. It is now a 7-kill lead here for Lethal Fox, and they will not want to throw this one away from the position they find themselves in here.
It's important that they keep doing what put them in this position in the first place. Keep playing the same. Don't adjust things, because we're getting towards the end game now. Don't turtle up. Don't play frightened. Huss has got a pick, though. Common, as a result, has had to drop down, knowing that his teammate is no longer there in position to help. He's going to settle for a trade. That's good, as it helps you get towards that 50-kill threshold. That's exactly where you need to be to tie up this series. Well, the lead now cut down to 5 from 7, so Complexity starting to put things together, and it's very important for TLF, like I say, to remain consistent in what's put them in this position in the first place. That kill advantage now, 4, but very quickly Common with a huge double kill, 47-41.
Yeah, Common again, 15 kills now for him, and the 47 kills that Lethal Fox were able to get last time they played against each other have already been accrued here. The 48th now put in, and there is no way, surely no way, that Lethal Fox throw this one away from here. They are so close to tasting victory.
His name's Common, but he's playing more like a rare at the moment. You're pulling him from your packs. 1 kill then required. Overshield in the chest of Huss. It's probably going to be a little bit too late as Rammy gets that final kill. 50-44 the final score. This series is all tied up.
Yeah, Lethal Fox on the board, and their World Championship has started. Considering I looked at this series layout, and they have lost every single map and mode in this series layout, and they have never found a victory except on Slayer Recharge. This is going to do them wonders. They needed something to give them momentum here in their series. Anyway, map number 3 is going to be coming up shortly. It's going to be Empyrean CTF. We'll see you then.
Hello everybody and welcome back to map 3 of this Pool D matchup. Complexity up against TLF. The score currently sitting at 1-1. Empyrean CTF is our next game mode, and Dan, if I can take your attention just away for a moment from the Halo action, just to talk about how I want to complain and vent a little bit about how life is difficult for us left-handers because we smudge things when we write stuff, and it's been a nightmare ever since I was young.
I thought you were going to talk about the fact I can smell catering, and I'm so hungry right now.
That is also,
so
now that you have said that, a concern of mine.
Where the Bravo stream is stationed, there is a clear waft of food arriving.
Cruelly stationed, now it must be said.
A waft of food arriving in our nostrils. So,
and I'm a very large man, so you know I like to chow down on some grub.
Whilst you smudge your paperwork. You poor left-hander. Anyway, into map 3, which is Empyrean CTF. Another map and mode that was played in Salt Lake City between the two teams. It was, again, won by Complexity 3-1. But we've just seen Lethal Fox were able to overturn a map that Complexity won previously. So maybe they can do it again here. But Complexity do have the rockets, and they are on the aggressor here. They're able to get one.
The boom barrels, they connect, and they connect hard. Flags on the move. Sniper rifle scooped up by Breakingshot.
Save the sniper!
Breakingshot falls. Huss also has a sniper rifle. So for a moment, a brief moment of that, Complexity had in their possession 2 sniper rifles. Now Huss repositions over towards the sword. 1 shot over towards Haines. Will not find a body, will not find a face. So no damage done. Although the flag's been sent home, there was a little bit of damage done for the meantime. At the moment, nothing to show for the early pressure that Complexity had put down. And as a matter of fact, their flag is now under jeopardy.
Huss just not able to quite connect with a couple of these sniper bullets. Still warming up here on Friday at the Halo World Championship. certainly as the weekend goes on, those shots start to become more and more important. And if you do whiff them, can allow the other team just to get back into things. Huss is going to have a greeting very shortly, but maybe wise to it. Maybe heard a couple of tippy taps on the other side, and he's able to nade Common.
Rammy with the snipe. Oh, beautiful shots. Huss warming up with the bandit for sure. Sniper rifle still, though, difficult to connect. Not really finding a home with them. Killing spree locked in despite the fact that he has missed a number of sniper shots and been able to get that flag touch as well. Re-engage with Haines now. Haines down to no shields. Huss continues to fight off the back foot, doing a lot of damage and doing a lot of work for his team. But fortunately for him, Rocket's about to pop up and he's in no position to scoop them up. RyaNoob, though, is going to push that flag forward. Rockets are going to pop over shield too, but important to know, Complexity now have a lead.
Rumor has it that Haines is the southern cousin of Haines.
Oh, right.
Would you believe that?
That sounds like something I can get behind in some Halo trivia.
Yeah. We'll have to find out whether that's actually true or not later in the tournament, but for now, I'm going to believe it. Now, 1-0 to Complexity, and that's bad news for Lethal Fox, considering their success came from Aquarius Slayer, where they were able to constantly be aggressive, they were pushing, they were not allowing Complexity the time to think. With Complexity now having the lead here, they can dictate the pace, they can slow the game down, they can wait on their side of the map if they want, and they are going to make it very difficult for Lethal Fox to get a flag here.
As you see, as time goes on, we see a lot of new weapon models being introduced to the HCS. You can see this bandit looking beautiful. Dragons on the side, but the commando, I don't know what to make of it. A lot of visual eye clutter as far as I'm concerned. I don't like it.
Well, this one, when it was released, very early days actually, in Halo Infinite, I struggled with it. It took too much of my screen up. It made my bandit feel heavy.
That comes down to is it weapon offsets that you use where you can like move it out of your screen. Yeah. That's what you want to start doing.
But still, it just felt heavy. I know it wasn't. It's exactly the same gun.
You were playing on 62 FOV as well, to be fair. So
62?
Yeah, who knows?
I'm trying to live in my Halo 2 days. God, take us back.
RyaNoob, he's played this map mode. He has been taken back here many times before. He is no stranger to the pit, Empyrean. No matter what you want to call it, RyaNoob knows how to play it. Flags being touched, but not much progress being made for now. Yakzn over towards the what would have been previously known as the Mauler. Now the Needler. It's gone through many different transitions, many different names. But one thing we do know is the score still remains 1-0. Breakingshot and Rayne in the respawn screen, and Haines has just joined them. Haines beans, Haines sauce. Either way, Haines might reign supreme.
Enemy flag returned.
Flag's gonna be pulled again. And that snipe shot is going to do wonders because that player's going to be weak. Huss is going to be able to finish it off. And now RyaNoob's in a position, if he tags one of these bodies that are going to be approaching, there is a definite chance of a flag run here. But, oh, well, the nade does connect.
Nade finds a home and an opening then. RyaNoob recognizing, though, that his player's down to no shields and perhaps the run isn't on. Now opting to use it with the help of the repulsor as well, just to get it over towards green. A lot of distance being made, but unfortunately, RyaNoob and Rayne do fall pretty much in tandem with one another. Rockets are going to pop up as well, which is good news for TLF as they're going to send that flag home. Rockets have been scooped up, and unfortunately, it's not going to be in the hands of Common because he is in the black screen. But it's a mosh pit over towards green. A lot of damage being done. Breakingshot somehow, some way, has got his hands on them. Overshield is a non-factor, and Complexity continue to push forward here.
Overshield a non-factor, but in return, I guess the Rockets also a non-factor. They cancel each other out, as they so often do here on Empyrean. They always historically have, ever since the good old days of the pit. But this flag is going to be difficult to grab now. You can see Complexity is certainly trying to be aggressive onto it, but there's just so many players from Lethal Fox off the spawn. Because Yakzn able to get one, it is just going to pin Complexity back a little bit here, but the shots are good again from Huss, and he can get another touch.
Rammy over towards the courtyard, putting down damage, down to no shield, so Breakingshot's made it all the way through, long haul with the flag. Commons in the respawn screen, that's going to make this defense a lot tougher. Shots will go down, but not enough to put Breakingshot away, and that's going to be a 2-0 flag advantage now for Complexity. They are well and truly in the driving seat.
Yeah, this is so much better from Complexity. Huss, 17 kills at the moment, and Lethal Fox are going to really struggle to come back into this one. I would be very surprised if they were able to get 2 flags on the board in 5 minutes. So Complexity can, again, slow the game down a little bit, start to focus and think about that next set of rockets and overshields that are going to be coming up. So they really don't have to be too aggressive. But at the same time, if they can continue getting these natural picks, these natural advantages, they might just go for a 3rd flag. But Common at least can get a snipe on the board just to remind Complexity that they are still there.
And you would think it's almost impossible to throw away a 2-0 lead, but Manchester United showing very recently that actually it can be done. And it will be done. Though, Common with the sniper rifle, he's going to need to start hitting some shots if they're going to upset the apple cart here and get themselves back into this game, and they desperately want to. As he moves now back towards his tower. And
there was once upon a time where Man United would
Yes.
have been probably like the biggest team in North America, like in terms of like fan base,
we
right?
probably still are, right?
I don't know anymore.
We're a marketing giant.
You're just a bit poo now, aren't
We
you?
are, we're very bad. We are very bad. There's no hiding it. Our glory days are well and truly over, at least for now. We need some sort of lifeline revitalization, as do TLF.
You need a poster boy.
We don't need that.
You don't have a Cristiano Ronaldo anymore.
We had him for a little while.
You did. He
We
came
had
back.
him back. Although he was ancient, God bless him. Now, RyaNoob. Speaking of ancient. RyaNoob with the overshield. What's he do with it?
Speaking of poster boys, I mean, RyaNoob has been the face of this team for what feels like quite a while.
It's the face
now,
of
right?
experience, is what
It
you'd
is.
say.
And
He hasn't lost a beat, God bless him.
he's been trying to find the perfect, I say this every event, he's been trying to find that perfect team. He was constantly rebuilding, constantly finding different players, new players to try and maybe fit his play style, fit the way that he likes to play the game. And this roster that he now ends up with just seems to click. The top 6 they achieved was brilliant, but they will want to go that one step further. They will want to break into that top 4 and finish this Halo World Championship season as a top 4 team.
They do have the ingredients and the building blocks in place to see some success, whatever that looks like for them. Perhaps it is a top 4. Breakingshot and Huss combined take down another couple of kills. 3 dead for TLF for a moment, and Huss will throw that flag out, but opting to wait now, delay this run until his teammates are in a position and perhaps there's more slays on the board.
Sniper is going to pop up, but maybe that's a chance for RyaNoob to swoop on in, steal it away, and then use it as an extra tool to try and demolish the remainders of Lethal Fox. But it's not going to happen because all 4 were temporarily dead there for a split second. And that does mean that TLF can regain control of this map and start to get a move on, get a boogie on. You've only got 2 minutes and 45 seconds to get some flags in.
Play the music. The boogie needs to get rolling now. Sniper rifle though from Huss finds the face of that player position top, and any Yakzn's going to fall. And with that sniper rifle falling, so does the chances of TLF getting that flag capture that you were calling for. Because now a lot of this next passage of play is going to be played in the TLF half. Courtyard spawn for one. Haines over towards that Mauler situation as well. And again, Huss can hear someone close to him, but perhaps not able to track him down just yet. And I feel as though Complexity will be quite happy just to play this time out. They've got what they need.
Yep, use your brains and don't really need to overextend here. You don't need to do anything a little bit drastic. You can even pad the stats a little bit. If you're starting to see those stats on broadcast and your numbers haven't looked too healthy over the last few events, well, if you're like Huss, 23-9, you're going to be up there as the main slayers if you can continue putting numbers up like this. Elsewhere on the main stage, Shopify Rebellion did just take down Native 3-1. So that is our first result coming through on the main broadcast. And Complexity, I'm sure, would like to replicate that because the series is going a similar way. Over on that game, Native lost the Slayer. Native won the Slayer, excuse me, just as TLF did. So Complexity looking to try and go 3-1 here. But this game is done. It's over. I mean, you can start to talk about miracles. You can start to talk about possibilities of Lethal Fox getting back-to-back flags. Ain't gonna happen. Stop thinking about it. If you're a Lethal Fox fan, start thinking about map number 4.
And you're speaking about elsewhere. Well, these two teams share a pool with FaZe Clan and Akave Esports, and actually at the moment, 2-2 the series score it seems to be. I'm looking across the screens. So they're heading to a game 5. We'll need to get confirmation if that is the actual score, but my eyes don't seem to be deceiving me from
Surely not.
I'm seeing 2-2, so maybe we'll have to get some sort of confirmation. But at the moment, 4 dead for Complexity. They hold 2-0 advantage in this flag game with time dwindling down.
I just don't believe you. I'm going to be honest. There's no way that's happening. Well, yeah, we'll get
You
confirmation.
do some investigative journalism
all right,
there.
I'm going to investigate. You talk about the 30 seconds
I'll
there.
keep talking about the time dwindling now. 27,
Here we go.
26,
You keep
25. I'll just keep counting down. 2-1 the score.
Hold
So
on.
actually, hold on a second.
Hold on.
There is an opportunity for TLF here.
I've looked away.
You looked away for
I
too
said
long.
they'd need a miracle. Nah, 15 seconds. I'd shave my head if they come back into this game.
You've said that before, and when something magical happened, you didn't do it. You're not a man of your word. 10 seconds remain then, and they've got to go now. Push forward. Haines is going to try there, but Complexity are posted up, waiting for players to push forward into their base. They're going to close out this one, even though some final nervy moments. 2-1 the score then in the flag game. Complexity also 2-1 up in the series. So TLF then 1 game away from going 0-1 in pools, and Complexity the reverse. 1-0 looks like it could be on the cards for them. And Dan, you've got some information for me.
It is 2-2.
It's 2-2.
It's
My eyes
2-2.
don't deceive me.
If FaZe lose that match, then I don't know what to say.
It's World's magic.
The World Championship is already going to start off with a bang. You'd imagine they would come out on top in Game 5, but again, we'll keep you guys updated with that one. I imagine LVT might be covering it. I'm not sure which matches they are covering at the moment, but...
And we are back with game number, let me count my fingers, 1, 2, 3, 4.
5!
Complexity, 2-1 to the good. And yes, we do have confirmation that the other games in the pool that are going on right now are actually locked level. They're in a game 5, going to a shootout to settle that little squabble that they have over on Recharge. So, interesting things happening at the World Championships already. Of course, remember, FaZe Clan, the defending world champions at the moment, and at risk now of losing their first game at pool play. And has that ever happened? That question will have to be asked and answered on a different day, because what we have to look at right now is Haines with a sniper rifle and a camouflage as well, trying to tag some bodies. A lot of shots being fired, but not a lot of damage being done. Rayne, though, looking to make it rain on his foes. Common over towards... Well, looks like he has no interest in him at the moment. He will re-engage with him now over towards the nest. Common will get that kill onto Rayne. Haines also elsewhere getting one onto Breakingshot. 13 seconds to 1. Ball back in the neutral position, bottom middle. So TLF have an early advantage, although not a lot that you would be banking on.
It's a decent mapping mode for Complexity. They've had their success throughout the year on Live Fire Oddball. A 60% win rate. I mean, it's not the best, but it's certainly a positive one, especially if you look back at the previous maps. They are on less than 50%. For TLF, again, it's another one they have yet to win an Oddball on Live Fire throughout this year. But of course, they've only competed in a couple of events, so stats a little bit skewed. Early stages, TLF do have the lead, but now Complexity, they've got a chance to get a little bit of ball control over towards green, and of course, when you are at green, gives you the chance to toss it off if you get pressured. But RyaNoob caught off guard there and not able to play it. Instead, they're going to have to fight their way out of this one.
Yeah, you had the opportunity to play it, opted not to use it though, and Rayne is going to scoop it up at the second attempt and toss it off. So perhaps the error or mistake that RyaNoob made, perhaps he thought that he could fight off his back foot, perhaps he thought the teammates were there and in position to help him. Ultimately, the answer was no. The ball should have been played, and ultimately eventually was. 3 dead though. Rayne, last man standing off the respawn after that play ball. And TLF will scoop it up and start to rotate towards the scoreboard. Camouflage at the pop, and that's an unfortunate little bit of geography that the grenade was bounced off, actually off the spike grenade, which made sure the trajectory of that nade spun back into his face and almost done the damage that he was hoping would be done to another player onto himself. Now, 2 dead for Complexity. Huss bottom middle, pushing through the rack tunnel, putting damage down, getting a trade. Not good enough for him to push forward for his team. Breakingshots there, making a meal of that kill. Common, beautiful jiggle peek, and making himself a very difficult kill. Ball will not be able to escape bottom middle. The sniper rifle now in the hands of Haines. What can he do?
Starting to see people nervously now watching the FaZe game, by the way, as they are in Game 5. And I think that really would show that anything can happen at the Halo World Championship if we're to see FaZe lose their first game in pool play. And once more, it could disrupt the entire bracket if that were to happen. It seems to happen at every single event. One of the big teams struggles in pool play.
And of course, the LATAM team, up until recently, were an open team. They had to do it the hard way. They qualified for the World Championships, and now putting it to possibly the biggest dog when it comes to World Championships. Of course, a lot of those players having 3 rings to show for their successes. And now, in a shootout, and it looks very close. I can't really see the numbers down, but I'm seeing the progression on the boards. It's very close. Very, very close indeed. Too close if you're a FaZe Clan fan.
Enemy has the ball.
Close in this one as well, though.
Yes, indeed.
Enemy has the ball.
I mean, TLF would love to take this to a game 5, because I think if you can go up against Complexity in a Slayer, you've already shown that, you know, with the aggression, with your individual skills, you can actually take down Complexity here. But your worry would be these objective-focused games, but in the early stages, Complexity have not been able to get that setup. We talk about that previous time over towards green. They weren't really able to get the ideal position, but now this will be their best chance. You can see trying to move the ball over towards the rest of the team, but they are hunting the rest of TLF right now, and Huss just needs to kind of move with them, but he needs to worry about spawners behind him.
The score in the doors, I do have confirmation at the moment, is 36-34 to Akave Esports, and apologies if you feel like we're harping on this story a little bit too much, but as a matter of fact, it has massive implications on this pool. They all share the same pool, so another opportunity for Complexity perhaps, if FaZe do falter here, for Complexity to top their pool like they did last event against Optic Gaming. So, all still to play for, a lot of Halo still to be played, of course. We're still only in match number 1, but upsets on the cards.
I mean, it could change everything in this pool when you think about it, and not just for Complexity, for TLF as well. I mean, they would imagine that they would be having a match against Akave for the chance to progress into the bracket, right? And to get into top 3. But that could be completely turned on its head, and then we could have tiebreakers with how this pool could be heading if there were to be that upset. So as soon as that confirmation of the scoreline does come in, we will let you guys know who are watching, because I imagine most people who are watching this are Complexity fans or TLF fans, or just massive fans of Halo, and you're the best kind of people.
We do love you. Massive appreciation for you. And you're the reason why ultimately we still have a job.
Enemy has the ball.
And I'm yet to get cancelled as well, which is always very important, Dan. I'm very Irish.
You are very Irish indeed. We can take the H's and put them back in, so
Put them back in.
we can make you seem more normal than you
That's
actually
what I'm trying to do all the time. Hiding in plain sight. Breakingshot.
Enemy has the ball.
Not hiding at all. As a matter of fact, he's looking for opponents to shoot. Rammy down to no shields, and eventually gets put away by Breakingshot. 73 the score then, and climbing. TLF very much still in this, but unfortunately for them, Huss has the hands on the ball, and he has a nest set up as well. A lot of damage being done, coming over towards the big door down to no shield, which will mean TLF's push will be delayed. So more vital time being eaten up on not only the clock, but score. Still in the favour of Complexity. Huss opting to drop the ball and try and get a trade. 3 dead now for TLF.
You did the thing?
I did the thing.
You said tree.
You walked away, so I thought you wouldn't hear it. But
I'm right here. You're right behind you.
You're behind me.
Breathing down your neck.
You're checking the scores on the doors elsewhere.
Also, what a comeback it's been from Complexity here. I mean, it was looking like TLF were in great steed. They had a lot of confidence.
Great
They had the
steed.
ball. Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Shit, it is now.
Great steed. Fine steed. Noble steed.
Noble steed.
Noble steed.
But now
2
50
dead.
seconds left, and Complexity are able to take down 2. Could be 3. But this should be the round here.
Should be, could be, and will, but it looks things as TLF not in a position to stop this ball progression. 1-0 Complexity in the oddball, 2-1 in the series, so 1 round away from going 1-0 in pools. And they're knocking on the door now. TLF, although looks super competitive, and that's probably the story that they have had every single time they've come to a major. They look competitive, but just cannot close out these series and close out these games. Vital mistakes being made, possibly the worst times. Huss and Rayne will combine to clear out green. Common there, though, to apply the finishing touches to the damage that was done by his teammate. Rayne with the camouflage, it seemed. No, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just going blind in my old age. Instead, he will have the quantum translocator as the camouflage is about to pop up any second now. Breakingshot is there. RyaNoob, though, opting to prioritize scoring with the oddball. Now will train his eyes over towards that camouflage. Common's going to scoop it up, and as a result, the ball will be played. Heads-up play from the ever-experienced RyaNoob.
Elsewhere, FaZe now have a 6-kill lead going into the final stages of that game against Akave as well, so it looks like they should be able to close that one out despite an incredible effort from the Mexicans. And here for TLF, is there anything left in their tank? And the answer from Common is I've still got a part to play in this one.
Still a little bit of magic left in those fingers. Pops the shields of 1, but unfortunately being pressed by 2. But he's back 2 players away. Exceptional work from Common. His teammates do have their hands on the ball, but they've been cut down to half their numbers now. Rammy and Yakzn have to fight off the back foot now, try to do as much damage as they can. Yak gets one. Unfortunately, he's the last man standing, and they will now, because of that previous kill he gets, have information of exactly where he's positioned. Shields popped once more, making himself a very difficult kill, but the push is going to come now from bottom middle, and he just doesn't know it's there. Huss gets the back whack. The ball's been scooped up as well, an opportunity for Complexity to really put distance between them and TLF.
So FaZe did win their series, so they will temporarily be top of this pool. But of course, if Complexity are able to win this one 3-1, then on the technicality, they would be top for me. But then, of course, Complexity will have to play FaZe a little bit later on today. But TLF still trying to stay alive in this one. But Huss trying to slow them down. It's only a 15-point lead at the moment, plus the other 3 that I didn't count. And you really struggle to believe that Complexity have been playing at their very best in this series, and that's what's kind of scary here. They've been playing slow. They've not really had any of those incredible moments where they've looked like the team we saw last event, and they're still winning. And I think that's pretty good. I think if you can amp up throughout the weekend, then you will show what you're made of right at the very end.
Yeah, I think ultimately, as long as you trend upwards in performance level, then things should look good for you.
As long as you get the win, right?
Exactly. I think it's important to also mention that huge props to Akave for taking FaZe planting with Game 5. But how often do we see the almost story from the underdogs? Last event it was Cloud9 almost knocking out SSG at the top 12, but these top 3 teams always seem to find a way out of those jams, time and time again.
Ice. We always talk about ice, we always talk about pressure, we always talk about in that moment. Have you been there before? Do you have the experience? And FaZe are the most experienced team, of course, when it comes to the World Championship. They are the reigning World Champions after all. But yeah, hats off for Akave for making it a series. And now our TLF going to be able to do the same thing here and take us to 2-2, even take us to the second round here in this one. It's certainly not done and dusted right at the moment for Complexity, but they are very much in the driving seat.
Absolutely not out of the realms of possibility now, and this will help the cause for TLF as they start to eat away at that lead. And can they ensure that they don't lose some numbers? As a matter of fact, the answer is no, as Huss picked up another double kill. He has been in exceptional form all series long. So much damage being put down. Unfortunately, though, 3 of his teammates have been cut down. As a matter of fact, he has been cut down as well. A Breakingshot, then the last man standing, and you see the play call here. Move that ball over towards Rayne and see if he can get a play on it. Being pressured, being hassled, being harried, and ultimately he's in the respawn screen now. He did get that ball over towards the big door, so no scores on the board for TLF whilst all that was happening. So that's going to be good enough for an all-4 dead, just delaying that ball scored enough for Complexity to spawn back up and put damage down.
Yeah, Complexity have map control again. They have the ball in their possession. You probably want to back away from this one, and RyaNoob does exactly that. Play your life here. You've done a little bit of damage, you've gained the information, and you should be able to see your team clean up the pieces, which they do. Again, it's going to be 4 dead. It's going to be more ball time as Complexity start to roll towards a victory here.
Great listening from Breakingshot as well, knowing that player on pillars was going to push forward and already had damage on him. Oh, where did Rammy come from? That's a question that Complexity will be asking themselves, and in particular Breakingshot. How did he get to me so quickly? Where was my help? Where were my teammates positioned? Because that should not have been an eventuality. But unfortunately for TLF, it didn't really amount to much, because RyaNoob now applying the finishing touches, getting the final seconds that he needs. In a 1v1, Rammy is there again, making himself a very difficult kill, but ultimately gets taken down by the experienced RyaNoob. And a trade is going to be good as well. So RyaNoob good for 2, balls played. That's good news if you're a Complexity fan.
It's really now or never for Lethal Fox as well. Minute and 50 left on the clock, ball bottom middle. Comet is able to grab it. They have a 4 versus 3 advantage. You need a setup, you need a proper setup as well. But sadly at the moment, they don't really know where to go. I think that Comet's looking at spawns and saying maybe we can get to tower. He's also listening to teams about where players are going to be. They haven't got that setup that they desired, and instead it's going to be a scrappy fight with this ball now.
You know that's always going to be an uncomfortable position when you're the ball carrier, when you start thinking about maybes. You don't have a clear vision in mind of exactly where I need to be, what is the right play. When you start weighing up your options and you're guessing and you're rolling dice, that's where you're in big trouble. Now you have gotten the ball to back tower. Haines is taking a little bit of damage, not a lot, but enough to make him drop the ball and opt to try and slay out here. play ball in effect. Haines back tower, then 1v1 against Huss. Huss just has not been losing them all game long.
I remember when we first jumped on board with Huss in like the first game, and you know, he missed a shot or two, and I was like, it's okay, he's gonna warm up, it's only Friday, and boy has he warmed up. 31 kills here in this one. Remember, he was the highest slayer in the previous game as well, and he is certainly going to be at the top of the kill charts probably at the end of Friday with how he's been playing. But there is still hope here for TLF. They were able to get that ball to back tower that you were talking about. It wasn't the perfect setup, but they fought very well to keep Complexity just at arm's length. And now Complexity are in danger of allowing TLF to maybe just steal this one away in the last moments.
To play ball again. Two teams separated by a mere 8 seconds, and that can be eaten away in one quick swoop. Sniper rifle is down bottom tower. Numbers, though, are starting to favor Complexity as the gun engagements go their way. 2 dead on the side of TLF, make it 3 unofficially for a moment. Rammy, though, the freshest person to hit the respawn screen. Unfortunately for him, he has to watch his teammates battle it out. 2 to go down for Complexity. This is very scrappy at the end. 40 seconds on the clock as well, but it's TLF somehow, some way, that have managed to flip this fight in their favor and get control of the ball.
Yeah, you can see Complexity had the ball, but they just didn't really know where to go. There was a TLF member every single area of the map. And now, suddenly, TLF are going to take the lead. They need 10 more seconds to take this round and take us into round number 3.
Rammy goes back tower. You know he desperately wants to get those seconds here and now. Pressure being applied as he goes towards the back, trying to squeeze the ball for everything it has, but the ball has been played now. 3 dead. Common, though, is going to try and make sure this ball can't get scooped up. It has been, and it's been whisked away. Big moments for TLF here.
Common now going for the ultimate flank. But has he just left it too late? Has he given them too much of an opportunity? 99 to 99. The ball is up for grabs, and Common will pick it up. So he goes for that flank, he goes for the patient game, and he is rewarded as TLF take us to round 3.
I'm going to be honest, when we look back and analyze the plays, was that the right one? I'm not sure. It looked as though he was about to throw it away, but any mistakes that might have been made have all been spared. Any blushes have been spared. 99 seconds apiece for both teams, and ultimately Complexity dropped the ball in the final second, as did TLF, just before they could get that one locked in. So you said make a series of it, at least get the round if you could. And TLF have done that now. 1-1 the score on the odd ball. Perhaps they have ambitions of pushing this one to a game 5 and causing the upset. And that previous round is going to do their confidence the world of good.
Yeah, I mean, drop the ball, both figuratively and literally, it felt like, from the side of Complexity. They really did let that one just slip through their fingers. Could that come back to bite them in the backside? That's the real question, because now that will give TLF that little bit of hope of, actually, we are still in this. We can win this, not just this round, but this series maybe is up for grabs now. Complexity, they need to focus up and ignore what had just happened, and they've got some good early time here.
Haines with the use of the camouflage, getting close to RyaNoob.
Nice.
He's being forced to push back though, and straight to his demise. Great work from RyaNoob. Recognizing the camouflage player was going to be somewhere there or thereabouts, because he'd already taken damage from him on the green side. So you know as soon as you receive that damage, then your clock is on. You know the camouflage player is coming. You know roughly when. Yeah,
Great reactions from him. Maybe as the camo player, you kind of regret a little bit not getting closer and going for a back smack. And of course, hindsight is always going to be an issue there. Hindsight. You're never to know that they're going to have the ability to force push you off the map. This is looking a lot better for Complexity. This is a big lead now here in round 3. This is going to be a tough one for TLF to get back into. You can see off spawn, they are all over the shop at the moment. They're pushing as individuals, but Breakingshot maybe is wise to it, and he knew someone was going to be arriving soon.
It was Haines. Rammy gets one as well, but it's going to be a trade. So much points on the board now for Complexity early in this round. Perhaps trying to put TLF to the sword once and for all. Common, though, trying to make sure that they can stay in this and make it even more scrappy. Closing in on the 30-point threshold, trying to eat away at that deficit. Haines in back tower trying to clear space and make space for his team. Being hassled, being pressured once more. Rayne's got the kill. Ball's in a bit of no man's land over towards the dummies area. Rammy's going to throw a bot middle ball, run it straight towards RyaNoob, who already had the angle. He pushes top middle. Yakzn was down to no shield. Common now over towards Nest. It's also going to fear RyaNoob and the presence that he has on the map. Camouflage also for Complexity. Huss is going to try and scout out. He's doing a little bit of reconnaissance as he pushes forward ahead of his teammates. One goes down over towards pillars. RyaNoob again with that repulsor. He seems to have it in his back pocket at all times. 2 dead and 3 dead. Yakzn last man standing. RyaNoob though will look to get his hands on this ball. He hears someone around him using the force push, but almost throws himself off the map.
Not almost, he did. He very much decided that he didn't want to play on life for the next 10 seconds, and instead will start to think about his next life. Now, I was going to say how good it is that RyaNoob keeps making sure he has the repulsor, because in every scenario he's been able to use it so effectively.
Yeah.
But sometimes it just doesn't pay off.
You had that queued up and ready to go, but then he threw himself off the map. You're like, you probably can't use that now.
Exactly. I can't really credit it.
I'm going to have to throw that one
I mean,
away.
the attempt was still good, the idea was still good, and having it in your back pocket is clearly very important because it has been able to win RyaNoob 3 or 4 kills just on our screen, let alone how many times he's done it off screen.
The idea wonderful, the execution a little less so, you might say. 70 seconds then for Complexity and climbing. Quantum Translocator has just popped up, but that will not be prioritized by any team right now. That's much is for sure. 3 dead. TLF in big trouble then. As Breakingshot has the opportunity and the option to bring this ball green. You can see his teammates are already over there. They've already taken the space off the respawn. Everybody on TLF spawning towards tower. They have to make up a lot of ground before they can really shut this ball down, and time is starting to run out.
If I'm Rayne, I'm saying, hey, can I have the ball? I'm on 0 seconds, guys, and my stats don't look as good as yours. Can I have the ball to make everything look a little bit better? As now Huss gets 2. The ball is going to be played, so it's not going to be one just yet for Complexity, but they are very close indeed.
It is unorthodox to try and stat pad your oddball time. Haines on the pillars continues to jiggle peek and just delaying his death long enough that his team can pick up the ball and bring it towards Sanctuary. Haines.
Sanctuary?
Not the map.
Oh.
Just the word.
Oh, is that a leak? We had Sanctuary, everyone.
Sanctuary's coming. You heard it here first. Camouflage just popped up. Ball is in-house. Common almost the victim of a long-range grenade. Almost stuck to his leg, but he spares himself the disappointment of being taken out of the fight. Now, score, of course, remains 1-1, 2-1 in the series, so TLF very much need to get this round on the board to stand any chance of going 1-0 in the pool, because they desperately do not want to find themselves down in the series once more. Then, of course, you start to look back again. Is it Groundhog Day? Are we going to go down 0-3 in this series like we have time and time again? Complexity ensure that it is definitely going to be a 3-1 series lead for them. They lock it in. Complexity 1-0 in the pools. TLF, although made it competitive, they are 0-1.
So it's going to be Complexity and FaZe Clan both with a victory in their first game here in this pool, but TLF and Akave both with a loss. Albeit a very close effort, especially from Akave against FaZe, taking them to a Game 5. And certainly some hope there from Team Lethal Fox throughout periods of play. But ultimately, it is going to be Complexity on top. A great series, but Complexity now need to look ahead and think about FaZe Clan as their next opportunity to maybe find a victory. That's going to be all for us for now, but of course there'll be plenty of matches here on the B stream. We'll be right back with the next game.